Pesticides are essential for crop protection, but they must be handled properly to ensure the safety of people, animals, and the environment. This video looks at how pesticides should be transported to, on, and from a farm, according to the National Road Traffic Act.
When it comes to transport, where a pesticide product has been identified by a UN number printed on the front panel of a label, then that product is considered regulated or a dangerous good because it encompasses hazards.
In this segment, we look at how legitimate farmers may transport pesticides, including some important legal limitations and exemptions.
While the requirements for the transport of dangerous goods at the commercial trade level is quite stringent, bona fide farmers are exempt from the requirements of the National Road Traffic Act, provided the pesticide products are not used for resale either in their original form or in a combination with any other substance, and the journey does not exceed 250 kilometers, which no more than 50 kilometers shall be on a main arterial road designated with an N number. For example, the N3, N2 or N1. In addition, and importantly, the quantity of the pesticides in liquid and solid form transported as a separate loads must not exceed 1,000 liters or 1,000 kilograms respectively. Finally, if a combination of liquid and solid pesticides are being transported as one load on a vehicle, then the quantity loaded cannot exceed 1,000 units, where 1 unit is equivalent to 1 liter or 1 kilogram.
Another example would be when a farmer or representative might be transporting 500 kilograms of solid pesticide as well as 450 litres of liquid pesticides. This would be exempt since that equates to 950 units, which is under the limit of 1,000 units.
Now importantly, where farmers do not meet the criteria for the exemption, then all legal liability pertaining to the road transport of dangerous goods according to the National Road Traffic Act will apply. However, with that said, this is rarely the case, as most smallholder farmers will not exceed the exempt quantity. And at the commercial farming level, which generally involves large pesticide consignments, such consignments are generally delivered to the farms by a compliant transport service provider that is dangerous goods certified.
We will now turn our attention to the recommended legal practices and precautions to follow during pesticide loading procedures.
First and foremost, when it comes to loading pesticides onto a farm vehicle, there must be no obstructions where such operations are taking place, and any equipment used for loading purposes, such as forklift trucks, must be in good working order, and the necessary PPE must be worn by employees to ensure that the process is smooth and without any safety risks. Now, before loading pesticides onto the vehicles, ensure that there is no leakage or damage. When loading onto the vehicle, ensure that the products are kept upright and neatly arranged in the containment area of the vehicle in such a manner that they do not fall over. Further, there is to be no overloading. Finally, remember the following best practices. Firstly, it is not advisable to load animal feeds in the same area of the vehicle where pesticides are loaded. Why is this? Well, because pesticides give off fumes, which is a well-established fact. We also know that animal feeds are solid in form and may absorb fumes given off by pesticides. Now, farmers need to ask themselves what happens when they feed their livestock animal feed that has absorbed toxic pesticide fumes. Livestock may not be well after consuming feed that has been contaminated with pesticide fumes, and this may result in unwarranted vet bills as well. Secondly, in terms of inorganic solid fertilizers, this is no different to animal feeds, and therefore it is not advisable to load inorganic solid fertilizers in the same area where pesticides are loaded, because inorganic solid fertilizers may become contaminated with fumes, which may then lead to application issues due to the integrity of the fertilizer potentially being compromised. Lastly, it is not advisable to load food items and fuels in the same area as pesticides. Food items may absorb fumes from pesticides, which could make anyone who eats such food items ill, resulting in unwarranted treatment bills. When it comes to fuels, again, this is not advisable because this presents an unwarranted fire risk.
Farmers often enjoy having their beloved dogs with them in the bakkie while working. But when it comes to pesticides, it's best to keep them away from areas where these products are stored, handled, transported, or used. It's a simple step that can make a big difference to their health and safety. Lastly, we will focus on the prescribed legal practices and precautions that must be followed during pesticide offloading procedures.
When offloading pesticides from a vehicle, ensure that the site where offloading is taking place is spacious and suitable without any obstruction, where any necessary equipment such as forklift trucks are needed and that are in good condition. In addition, ensure that offloading have the required PPE. Safety remains the #1 priority.
Thanks for watching. Remember, safe pesticide transportation starts with informed practices. You're welcome to reach out with any questions or visit CropLife SA for more tools and training.